What am I to do?
Welcome to RazorBranding Podcast with Jackie Russo. To learn more about how to improve your brand, visit brandrusso.com.
Hi, welcome to Entrepreneur Day. We have a chock-a-block full day of different entrepreneurs to tell you their stories and hopefully inspire you to success on your own. Our next guest, Ben Powers, is an entrepreneur twice over. He is a guest on this show for two different reasons. One, because of his business developing Lafayette, which is what we all need to know what's going on in town. And then secondly, because he works with so many entrepreneurs as he helps get the word out about their new business. So Ben, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jackie.
Thanks for being here. I love that you're on the go right now.
Always, man. I live probably like out of the day 60 to 70% in my car.
Absolutely. And when you have a car you love, it makes sense. It works for you.
Indeed.
That's awesome. So tell me where the catalyst for developing Lafayette emerged. And for people maybe who aren't familiar with you because they're not from the Lafayette area, explain kind of what it does and how it works and how very useful it is to all of us.
So I guess the catalyst, the creation part, and I'll summarize this. I was a new resident, a new citizen of Lafayette Parish, and I was experiencing the kind of the same thing everybody was, back in the early 2010 kind of decade. It's weird that it's a decade already away. But the growth that was happening, and there were a lot of new restaurants, there were a lot of new businesses coming up. And if you were in the range from 2010 to 2014, there was a lot happening, especially even right after that. I mean, it's been growing ever since. But there was one little place that I saw coming up, and my family and I tell the same story over and over because it's the best. We were eating at the fanciest Italian restaurant, and it was Olive Garden actually. And I know, but anyway.
So fancy.
Oh no, breadsticks, right? Okay, so the side where it's facing Cheddar's Cafe, there was that was construction site there, and I just remember seeing the construction. Our family was talking about it. My family had just come in to visit, and that's why we went to Olive Garden because that's their best. That's their thing. And so we were looking at the construction, trying to figure out what it was, and we thought it was a car dealership because that's all that is down there. And it ended up being Cheddar's. So I took a photo of the construction of Cheddar's, posted it to a Facebook page that was known by no one. And I just said, you know what? If other people want to know what this is, perhaps they'll find this post and be grateful that I showed them what this is going to be. And of course, as it grows and as it goes along, and we've become a kind of a two kind of pole business where we are an information source for the citizens of Lafayette, which that's what it was created for. That's the curiosity factor. And then now with the demand and with the following that we've built, businesses are like, hey, how do I get my business onto developing Lafayette? And I'm like, I'm so glad you asked. We have kind of a free 99 type of scenario, or freemium, as you want to call it. I think that's a term in the business where we'll write about you as long as you allow us to write about you early, pre groundbreaking, or when the sticks or the frame is going up, and before you have a sign. We want to let people know what it is at that moment, and we'll do it for free. As you get closer to the finishing of the construction, whenever you're about to start making money, we feel that we can start making money. And so then we work out a plan to say, hey, we're going to start exposing you to our following in a more creative way, in a more in-depth way, so they can see where they want to spend their money. And our followers, they know this, they love it, they consume it that way. And it's almost not even advertising for our followers. It's what they want to see.
And I think you hit the nail on the head because it is twofold. I love that you try to get in so early. You get the scoop on everybody else. I have spent my entire adult life, and probably even younger, driving past things and saying, what's going to go there? I wonder what that's going to be. And for when they first put a sign or turn dirt, it is sometimes months, almost years until you
Oh
get the
yeah.
answer to that question. Why people don't put a sign up out front right up in the beginning? I don't care who's pouring the concrete or who's doing the construction. I want to know what's going to go there. And you
Right.
answer that question for people. I think it is a service that is so important to the average everyday person as well as the business community.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's how it started. I was wondering what something was going to be, and I said, you know what? If I'm wondering, other people must be wondering, and
Absolutely.
there wasn't, and there still really isn't, besides me, someone who's actively doing that with a lot of businesses. So, but um, newspapers, they do their thing, but they, and another fold is that I didn't want to be just another news source. I didn't want to write about all the bad stuff that happens. We all know the bad stuff happens in the town. We know where to get that information. I didn't want to be that source. Even
Right.
businesses closing, I don't write about that.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, when a business closes, that's a sad thing.
It
But
is.
when a new business opens, that's a happy thing. So, for example, for anyone who's not familiar with Lafayette traffic, the Chick fil A on Ambassador Caffrey is probably the single greatest threat to human life in the community.
Oh
But
my
when you
God.
broke the story that they were moving to a new location and explained how it was going to work, that we were going to get all that traffic off of a major thoroughfare and into a parking lot, that was just a sigh of relief heard by everyone around Lafayette.
Yeah, I mean, look, let me tell you, I hear about that situation so much. Like why they have to have the I'm like, look, Chick-fil-A has been there for a while. This is before Ambassador was as bad as it is. It's been there before I moved here. I've seen traffic increase over the past 10 years in ways that I don't understand how we can still manage to keep that amount of traffic flowing.
Right, right. I don't know if you saw, and we're a little off topic, but it's kind of important. I think it was one of the local radio stations shared a video from 1981 Lafayette. And so Douglas Straps was the mayor, and he talked about business growth, and they talked about the development of the oil center, and they showed old Cajun Field before it was all developed like it is right now. It was fascinating. So it's about 20 minutes long, but they talked in that video about traffic and how bad traffic was in Lafayette
Oh
and how it was a
Lord.
great thing because it meant progress and growth and business. And this is coming out of the super high gas prices of the 70s when people weren't driving a lot because they couldn't afford to and they were in line to get gas. So I just thought that was fascinating. Here we are 40 years later, 1981 to 2021, and we're still talking about the same traffic problem.
I know. Interesting, real quick. When Joey Durrell was mayor, and he had an online kind of streaming conference, and he was talking about when Ambassador was widened to the length the width that it is now. He
Mhm.
said whenever that road was widened, it was the eeriest thing because it was wider than it needed to be at that moment. And he said there was a moment where he went on the road, looked down both ways, and there was hardly any cars because there was just so much room for people to drive that it didn't feel like that road was being utilized. You go down there today, you tell me the only time you'll see hardly any cars is on a Sunday early in the morning because everybody is still asleep from the night before.
Right. Or during the pandemic. That's
Indeed.
the one
Well,
time
true.
I saw, like, in that early March, April days, it was eerily, and I thought to myself, "This is why I will never complain about traffic." Traffic is positive. Traffic is people out going to school, going to work, spending
Yeah,
money. I don't enjoy it, but I am grateful for it because I wish we had it right now. So I think it's just about looking at it right, new perspective.
indeed, it is a perspective.
So, in looking at your entrepreneurial journey, obviously, when you posted that first picture of, hey, this is what's going here, and everyone responded, I know you've had some things that have had 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views, likes, shares. I mean, you're quite the viral sensation here in Lafayette for sure. Did you, at what point along the journey, did you think, oh, this is a business? Like, this is a real legitimate, I am an entrepreneur. I have built a business now from the ground up providing things to people that they need.
Um. Okay. Great question. So I like. So just for reference, because I don't think we mentioned this part, I started it in 2012, April. I started my probably umpteenth big boy job in August of 2012 at golfballs.com. So I was there for about 5.5 years. In that time, at some point, I realized that I had to have a website With the website, I had to have a monthly bill, and I knew at that point I needed to make some kind of money off of it, but I don't think I looked at it as a business yet. I think it
Right.
wasn't until probably 2014 to 2016, in those couple of years, where I was spending a lot of time on the road, digging in documents, browsing Facebook, because I do a lot. Like sometimes people see me on Facebook scrolling aimlessly. What I'm doing is I'm scanning, and I have a very tailored Facebook feed on my Developing Lafayette feed. I
Right.
have a very I have a very specific amount of businesses that I follow, knowing that those businesses are semi-successful, and I follow them, and I just look for posts from these businesses. But anyway, back to the question, the answer. Probably about 2015 was when, kind of in between that time, is where I was like, okay, I've made a little bit of money with advertising, but how do I do this full time? How do I make this my career, as you would call it, a career? It wasn't until 2016 that a couple of guys, some investment guys, reached out to me that said, "Hey, we think we could help you. What do you say?" So we met, we partnered up, and the goal was to grow Developing Lafayette into a more refined, still the same concept, but a more refined entity where we can generate revenue. And look, back before I had partners, my advertising rates were extremely cheap. Like if you thought that you missed out on Bitcoin in 2013, you missed out on Developing Lafayette ad rates in 2013. I was giving away in every single ad space on my website for $1,600 and for an entire year.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, you may look at that like, oh, but you didn't have the following that you have now. You're right, but I still had a decent engagement of followers, and that's whenever I was growing pretty fast. And now, we charge. There's ad spaces we charge $1,600 a month. You know,
As you should.
yeah,
When you get that kind of visibility, and I think you did it the right way. You built the following and then you charged for it. I find a lot of times entrepreneurs are so in love with their own idea that they want to start with their pricing up here and it doesn't really have that value yet. You did it the right way because you started down here, built value, then increased your prices. That's the way to do it.
yeah, man. You always got to start at the bottom.
Right.
It sucks.
Right.
Starting at the bottom sucks, but that's where you got to start.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as you look around, because of your job, you have much more intimate knowledge as businesses come and go in Lafayette. As you look around, what's your assessment of the state of our economic development? Are there certain areas of town that you think are growing better, faster than others? Are there certain business types that you think, oh, we have a lack of this? When you put the word out and you say to the community, what kind of business do you want? I know after PF Chang's, that's everybody's favorite choice, that and Dave and Buster's. Where
Mm.
do you see us going next as a community?
So there's a little bit to that question. So one is the current businesses that are growing the most right now. Restaurants in Lafayette are always growing. There's always a new restaurant coming up, but it's interesting. Car washes are a big business right now. I don't understand it. I
Are we
think
that dirty?
ah, you know, I don't want to say that. I don't think we're dirty. I think it's just the business model behind those types of car washes that you're seeing with the long tunnel. It's been a proven model to where it's low manpower, and it's high profitability. You stick a bunch of cars in line, you pass them through there. It takes about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to pass a car through a tunnel, and you charge them at minimum $6 to fly through there. I mean, it's a good business, and it's not that expensive to create one. So you're seeing a lot of that right now. Um, as far as the area of town that's growing the most, um, what I see is waves. So we saw a wave of Karen Crow grow,
Mhm.
and then we saw the wave of South Lafayette grow. Now the waves are continuous, but the waves are higher at different times of the past decade. And then you saw the wave of Youngsville grow, And then out of those waves, they settled a little bit. Then you saw the wave of Scott. And so over time, you see these ebbs and flows of the development. And then you saw Karen Crow growing again. And now, especially with Amazon, that wave is going to be more of a tsunami because there's a 500 to 1,000 employees there once they get full ramped up. You're going to see Karen Crow blow up even more. And the traffic situation there is not any better. It's I don't understand traffic and how traffic things are created, but where do I see Lafayette going, and what is needed in Lafayette? I'll tell you what's needed in Lafayette for sure is more entertainment. We have plenty of restaurants, and some restaurants, and I'll mention this. This is not a plug because I'm paid by them or anything. I wish I was. Fat Pat's. Fat Pat's has a new standalone concept. They are like pressing the gas on franchising, and they built a location in Broussard, and I think they have a location in Lake Charles is getting close to opening, and I think in Alexandria, where their model is grill and bar, of course, but you have the element of play. You have games, you have sports, it's almost like a very Buffalo Wild Wings-y kind of feel, but with a little bit more games. They have Jenga, they have things for kids to do. They have video games. That's really cool. And places like Surge opening, that was really big news. And so I think we need more of that. We don't have enough of it, and the ones that we do have, they're doing just what they can to support the crowd that they're already getting. I think places like Scott and Karen Crow and even Youngsville, even Broussard, all the places outside of Lafayette, all those places are lacking the entertainment factor because you still, for families to do something fun and extracurricular, you either go to a park in their city or you go inside of Lafayette to some of the places like Cart Ranch, Surge, a Sky Zone, or Elevation Station, which is in Broussard, but still, I think we need more entertainment, and I think that is starting to be realized, but we got car washes on the mind.
Car washes and Mexican restaurants. We have a
Dude,
question.
yep.
Ben, what's missing in Lafayette? What do you think we need? What type of businesses should we be seeking out or hoping come to us? And I know it's not more car washes. So what do you think? What do you hear people asking for?
Okay. So the most common thing that people ask me for or wish that I could wave a wand for is Trader Joe's. And we're getting an Aldi, which is very similar. It's a Trader Joe's
Light.
sister company in a weird way, but people tell me it's different. So Trader Joe's, more access to affordable groceries, I guess, and more organic stuff. So kind of a Trader Joe's situation. And back to the entertainment, Dave and Buster's. People are like clawing for a Dave and Buster's, and I'm sitting there like, dude, but Dave and Buster's wants 1 million something people in the population. It's a tough situation being the city size that we are. We are a big little city. We have the big city attitude and persona, but we still have the little city feel and hospitality, which is great, and I don't want to ever lose that. So if we don't get a Dave and Buster's in lieu of not sacrificing our hospitality and our small town feel, I'll be okay.
Well, I think somebody should take any of the abandoned stores at the mall, like Sears, and turn that into a multi-story go-kart track, indoor electric
Oh,
go-kart.
yes.
So there's no emissions or exhaust, and Dave and Buster's type atmosphere. How awesome would that be?
I'm telling you, that is one of the most prime spots for an entertainment venue. I actually interviewed a while back Jared Dowies with Legends, and
Sure.
I made fun. Everybody makes fun of his business in the sense that he's growing so much. He has like 9 or 10 locations, and he's still growing. I asked him. I said, "Are you ever going to build a Mega Legends?" And I said and I told him the old Sears in the mall would be great for a Mega Legends. You can have your games and all that stuff at the top floor or the bottom floor, and then you can have your bar, either which way. I said it can be like the Dave and Buster's of Legends.
Right. There you go. See, great minds think alike. I love
Indeed.
it. Okay, one last question. Do you have any inside information on what might be coming? What scoop can you share with us today?
Okay. Um, as far as the scoop that I have, man, I can tell you a couple of things that I'm working on right now that I'm getting pretty close to posting. I'm leaving out of town Thursday, so I have today and tomorrow to post these. So I guess
Okay.
I'll go ahead and provide that. So on a local level, Best Stop is franchising. They're opening up a location in Karen Crow, a
Ooh.
standalone, newly built construction. It's franchised. They also just announced that a Best Stop Broussard is going to be coming. It's also a standalone location, newly built. Just recently, I posted that Ground Patty on Johnson Street was acquired by the owners of Pizzaville USA, which is a Karen Crow-based company, but they bought Bisbano's on Johnston, and they also bought the Ground Patty on Johnston. And it's different than the Ground Patty on Kali Saloon. They're
Yes.
different. One is a grill and bar. Ground Patty on Johnston is more the original. And so in acquiring that, he's changing the name to the Original Patty. So 86ing the ground part, Original Patty. And Patty, and no, it won't be spelled P-A-T apostrophe I, it'll be P-A-T-T-I. And he's expanding that business into Corrette Farms in the old Romacelli space.
Ah,
So it'd be two locations of essentially the Ground Patty, the original Ground Patty. And so I think that's a great expansion story there. What else do I have? I had a couple of other things. Pizza Village is expanding to Bro Bridge. That's interesting. They
wow.
expanded once in the past 10 years so they have the Moss Street location, and now
Okay.
they have Kali Saloon, but they're going to Bro Bridge. So is Fat Pat's. Fat Pat's is going to Bro Bridge too. A lot of stuff. There's another one that's on my mind. I'm trying to think. Oh God. Oh, I can't say this one.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's all
Okay.
right. I will anxiously watch your page for when you post it.
Okay, cool. I was about to get
All right.
myself in trouble.
No, I don't want to give anything away too soon. Ben, we have unfortunately reached the end of our time, which is shocking to me because how does 22 minutes feel like 2 minutes? But
I
thank you.
know.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you and Developing Lafayette does for our community and the way you support entrepreneurs everywhere and are an entrepreneur yourself. We really appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Jackie, I appreciate you. And look, I love what you're doing, and I love that you took time out of your day, a lot of time out of your day, to dedicate to this podcasting event, and I love it.
Thank you so much. And to everybody watching and listening, thank you all. Stick around. We've got another entrepreneur coming. Thanks,
All
y'all.
right, you have a good one.
Thanks.
When the day is through.